Get almost anything you need delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get chicken parmesan delivered. A little escape? No. A delicious bowl of grapes? Yes. Yes, that. An afternoon stroll? Sorry, no. A burrito bowl? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Lowe's knows Sundays are for football, so tackle your home improvement projects by Saturday and earn your Sunday with great deals on LG and Bosch appliances, select Bounty and Swiffer cleaning products, and more. Then once your to-do list is done, get ready to kick back, relax, and enjoy the game. Shop in-store or online now and earn your Sunday with help from Lowe's, official partner of the NFL. Toyota's all in all season with another year of Toyota Game Day giveaways. The official automotive partner of the NFL is giving fans the chance to win epic prizes like Brock Purdy's favorite Toyota Sequoia, NFL shop gear, and more. Play for free by predicting which big plays will happen during the second half of every Sunday night football game. This is going to be fun. Visit toyota.com/NFL now to learn more. Toyota, let's go places. No purchase necessary, void where prohibited, ends on 2/8/26. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C., 18 and over. For complete details, how to enter prizes, and official rules, visit toyotasgamedaygiveaways.com.
Today we talk with the voice of the Carolina Panthers for 17 years and the voice of that very important season, 2015, when the Panthers nearly did the impossible and still had one of the great seasons in the history of the NFL. We're going to reflect on Super Bowl 50, the 2015 season, with our friend Mick Mixon today.
30 seasons of Panther football, a celebration of the players, coaches, and other key figures who've contributed to the organizational success.
All right, that's all the open you get, Mick. It's your old pal Jim here, and we think back to 10 years ago, the Super Bowl 50 season, and as far as the broadcast team went, it was yourself and Eugene and me and Jordan Gross, and we had a lot of fun, a lot of great road trips and traveling together there, and little did we know when that season began what we were getting into, because the year before, of course, was when they rallied and won 4 in a row and then won a playoff game, and 7-8-1 was good enough to win the division. We thought that was an accomplishment, and then this team goes 15-1, starts out 14-0 on their way to Super Bowl 50, and we're certainly not going to go game by game, but big picture, as you look back, is it almost surreal that team went 17-1 heading into that Super Bowl game? If you go back, again, the year before, winning the last 4 regular season games to get ready for that one, I mean, you think about how things have been by and large since then. That's an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, I think that team, Szoke, had that team won, and I generally, and it's great hearing your voice, brother. I cherished our time together, man. We had so much fun, and one of the great joys of working with you is when people would come up to me and say, man, I cracked up when you and Szoke said X, Y, Z, and I could not remember, and I really thought that we had said that off air. So I think for both of us, the line between our on-air and off-air comfortability with each other and what we said, our filter, was a little gray. So I think hopefully that was an okay thing for the listeners and the people that were along with us for those journeys. But Szoke, I remember when I first started working with you guys in 2005, I remember Marty Herney and John Fox saying in Foxy's office, you'd rather not go to a Super Bowl than you would go and lose. And I thought that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It's still a great accomplishment to get there. You can't win it if you don't go. I thought these are two guys. I respect their football pedigree, but they don't know what they're talking about. Then comes the after party after Super Bowl 50, and as you and I have talked about over the years, a 10-piece horn band that doesn't really realize that the Panthers have lost, that nobody's wanting to hear Kool and the Gang and Get Up and Boogie. Shrimp the size of bananas, this ice sculpture, this huge hotel ballroom, and it was like a darn death. And I reflected back to Coach Fox and Marty Herney, and I thought, you know what, I kind of see now. I still think it's fantastic to go. That team will be remembered as one of the all-time great teams in Panther history. Even if the Panthers win 5 straight Super Bowls, that 2015 team will have a special place in the Panthers, Panther fans' hearts and in the team's history. But dang, man, it was it could had the Panthers won that game. Now people would talk about that 2015 team as one of the greatest teams in the history of the NFL, don't you think?
I actually had that conversation recently with Brad Nortman, who was the punter on that team, and he said he remembers watching ESPN, like it was either the morning of or the day before the game, and he was just walking through, you know, in the hotel they always have the meal rooms and all that kind of stuff, and the TV's playing, and they literally said on one of those talk shows on ESPN, if the Panthers win, are they the greatest team ever? Because obviously the 72 Dolphins would be in that conversation, but kind of in a more modern era of a more balanced competition, if you will, the way the league is set up, you know, would this be the greatest team in the history of the NFL? And that's what they were playing for. And, you know, again, you go 17-1 heading into that game, and then you lose by 2 touchdowns. The game, it wasn't a 2-touchdown game. I mean, people also forget it was basically a 1-score game most of the way. But I think we all agree, in talking with the players and coaches and all the different people we've been talking to about it this year, it just was flat. It was just like a little bit of everything. It was a little bit of a missed kick on special teams, a fumble by a guy who doesn't normally fumble, a dropped pass by a receiver that you could argue maybe caught the ball. Just those little nicks and bruises that led to it being what it was, and in the end just not quite good enough to win. Because if you look at the numbers, the defense held Peyton Manning to nothing. I mean, I don't have the stats in front of me, but he threw for about 130 yards with no touchdowns and a pick. That was Peyton Manning's last game. And they still won the game because, of course, their defense played really well at times.
At the training camp the following summer, so summer of 2016 training camp, high hopes to go back to the Super Bowl. You still got a powerful team, rock stars everywhere you look, but lunch one day after a morning practice, really hot, and about 2 weeks into training camp, Luke Kuechly sits down at the table where I happen to be sitting, and several others, and somebody brings up the game, and Kuechly puts his salt shaker down and looks at all of us, and he said, "I will never forget, I had studied Peyton Manning for 2 weeks. I knew every down, every distance, every substitution pattern, every personnel grouping, every shift, every motion." And they come out, middle of the third quarter, they come out in exactly the formation I'm looking for. I know the play. I know where Peyton Manning is going to go with the ball. He cocks his arm. I jump the route. It's going to be a pick 6, and we're going to have the lead in Super Bowl 50. Szoke, all of us listening to Luke Kuechly. I mean, we're just not even on the edge of our, you know, any cliche. We're just, it was so quiet. We're just listening to him tell the story. He says, "I jumped the route. Manning's going to throw it right to me." And in that instant, KK Short comes around from behind and tips Manning's elbow. And the ball lands 5 yards off to the right, incomplete. It was a great play. Mm-hmm. But I had in my mind, I had already scored. We already had the lead. I was planning my end zone celebration. And oh gosh, it just hit all of us like a bank safe had been dropped on our heads. We just went, oh, okay. But it just shows you how thin the margins are in any NFL game. But in that game in particular, man, came so close. But what a fun ride! You remember what games do you remember? For some reason, the Dallas trip sticks out in my mind.
Oh yeah, that was really, you know, what, Thanksgiving Day, and the only time we've had a Thanksgiving Day game, and just the physicality of the way they tore up Tony Romo and the Dallas Cowboys. That was fun. And you talk about Luke Kuechly. He did have a pick 6 that day, and he did play really well. The other one that comes to mind to me that stands out is, like, going to Seattle back then was like, it was something. Like, that was like nobody comes out of there with a win. And so we're 4-0, and we go in there after playing at Tampa Bay the week before you have the bye week, so we're literally 2 weeks before the previous game, and go into Seattle, and that late win with Greg Olsen getting the touchdown, 27-23. And Seattle was kind of the standard at that time. I thought going into that 12th man and going into Seattle, winning that game early on really said, okay, this team can play with probably anybody the rest of the way?
That's a great memory. I remember the plane ride home from that game. Greg Olson talked. He talked about a running play where somebody didn't block, or maybe it was a short pass that he caught and somebody missed a block and he got a jarring tackle. It hit him so hard it probably hurt his parents and their parents. But he talked about that one play for 4 hours and 55 minutes. The entire every time I walked up down the aisle to use the restroom, Olson is talking to J.J. Jensen or anybody, a flight attendant, anybody who cares to listen. It's why he's so good on air now. He just is just total football all the time. I remember the Thanksgiving Day trip because for a lot of reasons, but Ron and Stephanie Rivera invited the entire team travel party for a Thanksgiving meal in the hotel.
Right.
Except me, you, and Kevin Donnelly. And the three of us end up at this Italian restaurant eating chicken marsala for Thanksgiving meal. I look at Coach the next day. I said, Coach, Mixon, Mixon, room 1108. He got a big old smile. He said, sorry, bro, we'll get you next time.
Next Thanksgiving trip.
Yeah, next time we're undefeated and the birds are chirping, the flowers are blooming, the sun's shining. We'll think of you. But I'm only telling that story really just because of the respect that I know you and I held Coachy in. I mean, just he wasn't. I think he was the kind of coach where the players, they didn't want to let him down. I mean, I just think he had a really nice touch with those teams.
Now, my goal, I've done about half of my podcast for this season is I've got Coach Rivera as one of my on the checklist. I'm sure I'll get him. And so of course, Mick knows this, but I saw a coach when he was doing a broadcast late in the season last year, right around Christmas time, and he was doing a national radio game before he took the Cal job that he's in now as general manager. And I see him up in the booth area in the hallways up there. We talked for a little bit. I'm getting in my car in the parking deck. And there's Szoke, and it's like one other car because the post game show is rolled on and everything's happening. Everyone's left, and it's Coach Rivera. We stand there talk a little bit. Margo, let me get a selfie. I go, not for social media. I'm gonna send this to Mick, and so I send that to Mick. And what was fun was kind of watching the two of you, and I would chime in, but the kind of three of us interacting all through the holiday weekend about just catching up and sharing some thoughts and Merry Christmases and all that stuff for 3 or 4 days. I mean, that's just what he is. He's just a good human being.
We tape the TV show together every Wednesday, and I would come in, and normally I would wear my suits would be gray or navy, or I wasn't really big on earth tones, but my wife had given me this kind of chestnut colored suede type, I'm sure it was faux suede, but a blazer. So I wear this blazer and I walk in, it's near Halloween, and Coach Rivera is wearing this orange sweater. I walk in the studio, and Coach Rivera starts shaking his head. He says, nope. He called me Mickelson. He says, Mickelson, I don't like you. I like you better in navy and gray. I don't like you better. I don't like you in this color. I said, let me get this straight. I said, I'm taking fashion advice from the great pumpkin over here. And, we all cracked up and had a good time. But you probably don't get – there's certain coaches that we could name where you probably don't get that.
Yeah, you'll get a lot of Ichabod Crane references from other coaches that you would from Ron Rivera. When you've got a Ron Rivera and you got your Ron Riveras, as we like to say. And darn him, he's good at everything because he was, as I mentioned, doing that broadcast last year. Before that, he had done television, I think, in Chicago and some other places when he was between coaching jobs after retiring as a player. So he knew that business too, and he got it, and he enjoyed that. But the season just unfolds to the point where, like, this could be, like, again, the perfect season, like 72 Miami Dolphins, and they didn't have to play as many regular season games as Carolina did. We get all the way to 14-0, 2 to go, lose by 1 touchdown, 7 points, at Atlanta. And Peanut Tillman gets a season-ending injury in that game, and they bounce back and beat Tampa Bay by 28, as it turns out, the last game of the regular season. We'll talk about the playoffs in a moment, but to cap that regular season, I mean, what a run. And how fun might that have been to get into the postseason with a perfect record? I mean, no one's getting too greedy. We'll take winning a Super Bowl, but what would that have been like to go completely run the table all the way through?
I know, and then to have that loss be against the greatly detested divisional rival Atlanta Falcons. There were some people in the aftermath of that game, Szoke, that said, and I never really subscribed to this, but we heard it a lot, was that, okay, this is good. This takes the pressure off, the pressure relief valve of an undefeated season, taking that into the postseason. But I don't think I never once got the sense that any of our players or coaches thought that way. I mean, it's sort of as trite as it is. You take them one game at a time. I mean, you just rack them up and you play the next one. And it would have been fantastic to have run the table on the regular season. But some of the wins, I mean, just think about Cam Newton coming into the stadium. He'd come out, stadium just starting to fill up, and here comes Cam Newton with his arms out like airplane wings, banking across the northeast wind, sailing on a summer breeze. I mean, just the Pied Piper of fun. The other players so many just iconic Panthers on that team, and just the joy that they played with was contagious.
And the number, as we look at it, I mean, it's hard to come up with a Pro Bowl player or two. Like in today's Panthers world, you've got Derek Brown's been there, obviously. J.C. Horn got there last year. So, you feel fortunate if you've got 2, maybe 3 Pro Bowl players. But you look at that roster, and you could go in their careers anyway, maybe not all in that particular year, but for their careers, how many Pro Bowl players? You mentioned Luke Kuechly earlier, but Josh Norman was playing at the heights of his ability. You had Thomas Davis playing through the injury. Ryan Khalil, Cam, you mentioned. You had great running backs like Jonathan Stewart on that team. I mean, that team was just loaded with star players that were longtime guys with the organization, too. I mean, you mentioned KK Short and some other great players. I mean, just the list goes on and on of just tremendous talent, the likes of which were some of the all-time in the history of the team.
Even some of the other guys, and I'm thinking of Mike Tolbert. I mean, just a total pro, fun to be around.
Another Pro Bowl player, though.
Exactly. Yeah, Jericho Cotchery knew how to handle his business, knew how to perform at a high level, get ready for a game, help the younger players with some things. That team was. So who else was on? It was Kurt Coleman,
Charles Johnson, Roman Harper, Trey Boston.
Yep.
I mean, that team was loaded. I mean, just like with like the guys that weren't the Pro Bowl players were longtime NFL guys that had really prestigious careers. Like you think about Ted Ginn, you mentioned Jericho Cotchery. I mean, these were guys. Starla Tulele was at that time very good in his career. So it was again just a really loaded team all the way through. And that was Shaq Thompson's rookie year, by the way. He was a rookie first round pick that year on that team. So a lot of fun personalities and obviously talented players. So that was fun. And then they go into the playoffs. I'm going to couple these two games together, the 2 home games. Seattle ends up being 31-24, but it was 31-0 if I'm remembering right. And then it was a blowout of Arizona in the NFC Championship game. It scored 40 whatever points we scored in that one. And then so you feel like at that point, the way you're blowing through playoff teams, Super Bowl may not be a blowout, but it's just like how much are we going to win by? Because Denver was considered a solid defensive team, but they were not a spectacular team getting there.
That was the hard part about the way the season ended, I think, was how I think the Panthers had already beaten 2 teams to get to the Super Bowl that were better than Denver. And I know it's hard to measure that. It's just my opinion. I'm not trying to export this, but I felt like so much of the hard work had been done. And then Denver, I think Denver and the Panthers play 10 times neutral site. Panthers probably win 7 of those. I just think the Panthers were a better team. But anyway, back to those two games. The Arizona game is the one I'll never forget, mainly because the ramp up to the game. You know, I've always loved the sociology of football, how it brings people together. I remember coming to the game and parking, getting there early, like you and I did, and like you still do, and just seeing all kinds of people. I mean, black, white, Democrat, Republican, young, old, rich, poor, Jew, Gentile. It doesn't matter. Everybody pulling in the same direction. Everybody hugging, high-fiving. Is this going to be our day? Can we do it? And the city was just off the chain. That stadium, anything the Panthers did, and they did a lot of good things early. The noise, I got chills right now just thinking about the noise floor in Bank of America Stadium. How you and I had to raise our voices up a few extra decibels just to feel like be heard into a microphone even.
It was a blast, and you look back and you're thankful to be a part of it. You wish it would have gone one more. Would it have changed, somebody's actual life, for the players? Yeah, you always have that ring, and you always have the thought of what it'd be like to win. That's why you play the game, is to be a champion. But overall, there's so much to be proud of, and you got to the Super Bowl. And I get the sentiment you said at the beginning about John Fox and Marty Herney about you'd rather not get to the Super Bowl but lose it. But I disagree, because then you take away winning the NFC Championship game. And I think that win over Arizona, the way that city felt after that win, that was your championship moment, as it turned out. You wished it wasn't the final stop as far as winning championships for that season, but that was quite an accomplishment. 49-15, by the way, was the score of that game, and that was one of the most dominating things against a really unbelievably talented Bruce Arians Arizona team that year.
Yeah, they had it rolling too. I mean, smoking. And after that game, one day, I don't know, the middle of the next week, Riley Fields, Panthers Director of Community Relations, walked down to my office and he said, "Mick, can you need you to MC a little pep rally? It's going to be uptown at Bearden Park. Just come up there and introduce Coach and some players." And I said, "Yeah, sure." So I remember telling my wife, my bride's name is Dawn. I call her Dawnie. I said, "Dawnie, you want to come up and this little pep rally? And it won't take long. I just probably got to hand out some T-shirts and introduce Coach." And she said, "Sure." So she came to the stadium, and then she and I walked uptown. Dumb old me, I'm thinking, maybe a couple hundred people would be up there. It'd be kind of cool. There are 30,000 people in uptown Charlotte for a pep rally. Huge stage, top cats. I mean, I walked up the stage stairs and looked out on the crowd, and I just went, this is like what Bruce Springsteen feels like, looking out over a crowd. I mean, the excitement was just. And you think, at least I did anyway, okay, now the Panthers have figured out how to get to one of these. The next year or two, let's get there and then close the deal.
And the rest is history, as we know, because we've never had back-to-back winning seasons.
Exactly. And that's one of the lessons that I think, hard lessons that pro football teaches you, is that it is so hard to be consistently good. And just to our points of earlier in the conversation, just getting there, just to get there is so special.
It's the best season in Panthers history. We've had 31 years of them, and it's going to be a tough one to top. The only thing that will top it, obviously, is to win it all. That's a great place to leave it right there. Great stories, Mick, and always fun to catch up with you, my friend, whether it's on the air or off the air. I'm glad that retirement and life with Donnie and the family in Burlington is going just the way you wanted it to.
Oh, there's nothing like it, Szoke, but I appreciate it, and thanks for all the fun, the laughs, the memories, and thanks for being the total pro that you are.
30 seasons of Panther football.
This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. As a fellow dude, do you ever get that not-so-fresh feeling in your butt? That's because you're probably using the dry stuff to wipe. Wet, extra-large, flushable dude wipes get what toilet paper leaves behind in your behind. You wouldn't clean the tail end of your truck with dry paper towels, so why would you wipe with dry toilet paper? Wetter just cleans better. There are no more dingleberries, no more itch and irritation, just a deep, down the seam, confident clean. So don't fumble the ball with toilet paper. Stop being an a-hole to your b-hole. Drop the toilet paper. Available on Amazon and major retailers nationwide. Dude Wipes, best clean, pants down.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning. When I say insurance, you say financial services. Insurance. Financial services. Insurance. Financial services. Now when I say nationwide, you say is both. Nationwide. Is both. Nationwide. Is both. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Whether you're kicking off a campaign, gearing up for an event, or suiting up your team, 4imprint has the promo products to move your brand down the field. With thousands of customizable options like premium apparel, drinkware, tech totes, and giveaways, it's easy to score fan favorites that deliver impact. You'll get expert support, speedy delivery, and their 360-degree guarantee, so you can be 4imprint certain your order arrives exactly right on time. Explore more at 4imprint.com.
4imprint.